Meet our friend Sam. He is. Meet our friend. Meet our friends.
Law number 9. Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Law number 10.
Can't make you happier now. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of the June.
Law number 10.
Rook, you asshole.
Law number 10. Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You can die from Law number 10. Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are infectious as disease. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own. Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are infectious as disease. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves. They will also draw it on you. Associate with the happy and fortunate instead. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Now, we all been in a place as far as unhappiness or feeling unlucky, but within that we had the opportunity of growth, and happiness is attained through peace. Peace is happiness. So if in my interpretation, I wouldn't necessarily avoid people who are unhappy or people who feel like they're unlucky in life, but I rather look at it as an opportunity for something that I have gone through myself that gives me the ability to share with them my knowledge by the grace of God and the wisdom that He has blessed me with, in order to uplift them and to bring light and to reignite the fire within them once again in their life.
I'm just doing some editing.
You see what I mean? So a person who gains perception, that undergoes certain trials and tribulations, that goes through certain hardships and feel unlucky and lack of hope and financial distress, and they learn to see the bigger picture and realize that it's all a stepping stone of growth. And here I am today sharing with you that I was an unlucky guy. I was a guy who was in financial distress. I owed people money. I owe people money. But at the end of the day, I used those things to uplift others. So I wouldn't necessarily avoid. But the one thing you should remember is that if your intention is pure with the people you might deem as like somebody who's gone through the same struggles as you, if you deem them as such light, then giving yourself the opportunity to help them and to raise them and to raise their consciousness and make them understand that none of these things are happening to you for no reason. It's not a coincidence. It's a calling for you to grow. is to confront the demons that are within.
If you're
So in
listening,
all
pay
fairness,
attention. I'm gonna
if
show you how
you've
you can
had
make
pure
your own
intentions with
videos.
these individuals and they didn't step up to the plate to actually want to grow, then you know what you need to do. Then you distance yourself. You give them their space, because some people are just not ready. But maybe sometimes they become ready, and when they see people who are closest to them, let's say like me compared to some of my other friends, is taking that stepping stone and doing something that they feel in their heart they could do too. But they needed somebody to take that step forward. Here I am. I'll be the sacrificial lamb. I'll be in the vulnerable position for people to point their fingers at me or make fun of me, whatever it is. Throw your best shot. It's not going to slow me down. It's only going to fuel me. Now, that's very profound, something to remember. So you have to be the first one to take the step. Walk boldly.
All right.
Law number 10.
So this is an idea of it.
Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky.
All right. So I'm
You
gonna
can die
show
from
you.
someone else's misery. Emotional states are...
For example, you see me make this video, right? Okay. So this is my TikTok account. It's the same name as the one I use for YouTube, SuperDavesLife. Um, so what I did with this video, for example, so I'm not sure if any of you heard of a book called 48 Laws of Power. So what I did is I read the recap of, for example, 48 Laws of Power, and what I would do is I would input my interpretation, which I'll show you right now, but I also show you how you put in the description and how you're supposed to put in the hashtags and stuff like that, right? This is something that I've been exploring with. I started off initially last year, but just kind of like got swayed away from it just because I do own a physical business, a commercial business. But and at the same time I was doing a lot of the work myself as well. So one of the things that I started playing around with, which was TikTok Live. My initial first name was on TikTok David Speaks Truth, and I later switched it to Super Dave's Life. And Super Dave is a nickname that I received from the times that I used to be um, out in the streets doing what I do best, selling dope. But anyways, those days are done. I've ever since I've been released, I started a legit business. I built a business in the last 6 years, and now, as my physical business is still running, it gives me the opportunity to do things like this, what I'm showing you right now, which is something like this video, which I'll replay. So I'll give you an idea, so you get an idea of a visual of what you want to do, right? So everybody has the ability to, you know, bring forth their passion or something that they like to do, something that's passionate. Me, I like to use my experiences, my circumstances, and the things that I've gone through in life in order to uh, use that as a form of testimony to inspire other people that they can make a change in their life. So um, at the end of the day, it's like the willingness. When I first started this, which was last year in October or September 2024, I didn't really see too much traction. I only had like 20, 30 followers. And just alone in the last month that I've been consistently doing it almost every day, let's say I've had since last year, I built up about uh 20, I built up about 20, what is it, since then in a year, 100, maybe less than 60, 70 followers. But now, since I eventually coming to this point, because I started posting more and more content, but I built it up to maybe like 170 people. But now at this point, in the last month and a half to 2 months that I've been doing it consecutively, I've built up probably an additional 300 plus followers. So I'm almost at the 600 mark, and probably within the next, I'd say about 2 weeks, I'll be at 1,000. And from there on, you build up your followers, like people who enjoy your content and people who appreciate the information you share with them. And what usually happens from a psychological perspective, and I know quite a bit about psychology because that is something initially that I wanted to pursue, but I never did. But part of the reason why I never pursued psychology, even though I got a grant for it from Canadian government to do it in University of Arizona, and I wanted to study criminal psychology. But the craziest twist I'll put to it, I was legitimately already on multiple trafficking charges. So that kind of prevented me from having this the opportunity to step forth and become, somebody who comes from that environment, as opposed to being a dope dealer. But nonetheless, it doesn't stop you from learning or anything like that. So, um, when I started doing this consecutively, and you can do it too, and I promise you, there's things that you have gone through in life that you can utilize because there is people out there. Noah Craft, what are you doing today? Today, well, I spent my day jogging. Today I did a bit of jogging around the city, and I'll show you a video that I've made once I post this over here. Um, I did about 5 or 6 kilometers. I've had the opportunity to talk to a few people. So it's funny you asked that because the more I go out and the more I'm out and about, and sometimes like I have the ability, I can go drive if I wanted to, but I like to be able to put myself on foot and kind of slow down. And part of the reason why I choose to slow down is because when I speak honestly and truthfully, is the lifestyle I come from, it was very much revolved around just moving around everywhere, just driving. Like what street guys would call it. I used to trap out literally 12, 13, 14 hours a day. I used to make a lot of fucking money. But at the end of the day, I never slowed down. And now the reason why I enjoy going for walks or jogs for like 5, 6 kilometers, because ever since it's all said and done, and upon my release in 2020, I learned to slow down and embrace nature and embrace uh, God's creation. Good night. And basically, ever since I started stepping up to the plate and embracing what it is that I love to do. And one of the things is, aside from a commercial business, I enjoy helping people. And the more I feel like I do of that, and it's specific people who will come and watch people like me, because at the end of the day, the reason why I don't get angry that people don't watch people like me on live streams and this and that is because it's not meant for everybody. It's a very interesting thing that I'm sharing with you if you're watching me, is the fact that you're going to have people who come from certain backgrounds in life. Somebody like me, that I speak very openly about it. I spent probably about 12 to 14 years of my life being a drug trafficker. I've gone through it. But the most interesting part about it is the reason why people don't stick around to listen to people like me, because at the end of the day, they're so consumed and they're so conditioned by the things that are at the surface. So if you are the type of person who is, doing mindless scrolling, I've done it, playing Battlefield, playing games, all these things like that. At one point or another, man, you're gonna have to fucking grow up. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to fucking grow up. You're gonna have expectations, like you might be in high school, you might be finishing high school. The world is gonna come fucking knocking at your door when you finish. And you have no skills. You have nothing to, offer to the world. You don't even know how to make a fucking resume. And you get an opportunity sometimes, you'll come across very open people like myself, very explanative. I'm always happy to answer questions as far as even goes pertaining to my personal life, how I came to the point where I'm at now and what I'm doing. And I'm nowhere near done. I'm 39 years old, and personally, between you and the stranger who's watching me, probably in the next 3, 4 years, I'm gonna go hard as fucking shit, and everybody knows this, that I have this type of fire that's instilled in me, and I'm gonna walk in it boldly, no matter how hard the path gets. So, it's inevitable that somebody who puts in a sufficient amount of effort, not just sufficient, superior amount of effort, is an individual that'll get an opportunity of growth. And everything, as you go on, no matter how hard it gets, that you'll start to get signs from the universe that's showing you that you're aligning with the path that you're destined to go down on. And I don't expect people like me are always looked down on, where people don't give you the time of day and stuff, because you're just, that you're weak. You're weak. But if you're here with me, that means that there's something within you that's burning, that wants you to become a better person because there's a burning inside you. Everybody will get that opportunity. Like it's like men who go through midlife crisis. I never felt a midlife crisis. Right, Mom? Mom. Mama. Я знаю, что midlife crisis. My mom will tell you. Я знаю, что midlife crisis. I'm speaking to her in Serbian. Я знаю, что midlife crisis. When every man, or let's say primarily men, they come to an age of in their mid 30s, they start to question, what am I doing with my life, right? I was telling the people watching me here that I never felt that. The reason why I never felt it is because I'm finding my purpose. So the reason why you are going to enter a midlife crisis is because you're confused. You don't have no purpose in life. You work at a fucking job you hate, and you want to make a purposeful change. It's just people that watch. So at the end of the day, you will come to a point, and I find some people, friends of mine that I've had in the past, I find that some of them, the reason why they have a midlife crisis is just because of the fact midlife crisis comes from men that feel like the urgency to like make something out of nothing, because it mostly happens to people who fucked around too much. I've been one of those guys. I partied, I went to strip clubs, all these things like I made money, bought clothes, did all the things that are at the surface, but never dug deeper to find who I truly am and what am I here for truly. Is it just to wake up every day and be at work at 8 a.m. and leave at 5 p.m. and I go play games and go to watch fucking basketball at Boston Pizza and all this shit? At what point do you actually fucking draw a line and say to yourself, be like, yo, fuck this? You know what I mean? There's men out here that I'm watching on fucking TikTok that are 50 plus years old who are like, when I make it, people are gonna come. People are gonna come and they're gonna watch me when I make it. You're fucking 50 years old. And if you're at 50, that means that the effort that I'm putting in at 39, yours had to be like times 10. So if I spent most of my life just, doing mindless things and things that are at the surface, go to the bar, go do this, go do that. And then I find myself at age 50 and I'm still working a fucking dead end job. I might be making more money. I might be a foreman at a company or something like that. But at the end of the day, I still feel unfulfilled. And the reason why men have some people have double midlife crisis, especially those guys. I'm watching men who are 50 fucking years old who are talking about, I'm gonna make it. When I make it one day, I'm gonna show everybody. Well, how the fuck did you go through half of your life without even like fueling the fire that's within you? How the fuck did you go through half of your life? And if you're somebody who's there, it's not the end. You still have an opportunity. And let me just recap quickly so you know who's fucking telling you this message. Is a guy who's done fucking jail time, is a guy who spent 4.5 years on fucking curfews, who's been arrested and raided multiple times, lost everything, came out, and still fueled the belief that I can make something out of nothing. You can do the same. But the reason it's not going to happen to you because you don't focus on something or someone that you can turn to and be like, this person fuels me. You just mindlessly scroll and you go from fucking person to person and you're just looking at all this concert, all this. It's detrimental because one day it will catch up with you. It will catch up with you where you're going to realize that I have wasted most of my life. Every day has 24 hours and you have an opportunity to do something with that time. Whether it's a small increment of little steps, like whether I'd be going jogging, making some videos, making some content, anything you do that gives you the ability to move forward step by step is one step closer to becoming the best version of yourself. And only one day, when it's all said and done, you'll get the opportunity to look back on it and you'll be like, I know that all the effort I've ever put in brought me to the place where I'm at today. So at the end of the day, like, don't be confused that just because you watch people who are on social media, they look like they're doing really well for themselves, they make money. Don't necessarily pay attention to those guys because a lot of them have ulterior motives. You're gonna come across people like me that have pure intentions. While you're looking at me and you're like, oh, this guy's just some random guy and stuff. I have a burning desire to succeed. And I had to fuel that with the losses I have taken. I had to fuel that from all the losses I've taken in life. So every time that I lost and I was buried in the rubble, I had to dig my way out. And I had to say to myself, because nobody else would come except maybe my mother and my aunt, and very close, my other aunt from Sweden and so forth, they would come and tell me. They would give me some type of level of encouragement, to keep going. I had every reason to fucking quit in life. I wanted to kill myself multiple times, but I never did because I realized there's something for me out here in this world. And the urgency for me really grew is getting caught the first time and going in and out of court and then getting fucking raided again that following year after that and going in and out of court and stressed out and then ultimately being incarcerated, which I said to my own mother before. I've become accustomed to that lifestyle, being institutionalized. Sometimes I felt at one point I didn't want to come out. Right? So at the end of the day, every loss that you take gives you an opportunity of growth. But you will never fucking grow in life as long as you continuously keep occupying your time with things that are not actually pertaining to your growth. I'm not out here trying to sell you a fucking course. But there's people out there who come in fancy, they dress with all this shit. Maybe I should go put on my Versace shirts and then come on here and be like, oh wow, he's somebody. No, but I wear a fucking Raptor shirt and I look like a fucking nobody. You understand? But the words that come out of my mouth, if they resonate with you and you stay here to listen to some of the things I share with you, because my intention is pure compared to a lot of the people that a lot of people idolize. These people have no interest other than to sell you a course for excuse my language, for some people's dumb ass brains who buy this and they think that I bought Andrew Tate's course, I'm gonna be an e-commerce guy, he's laughing at you. And I would too if I met him. Because I've met already and I've already talked to people like Andy Elliott. I've already talked to Wes Watson in person. But you never heard of me. Real recognize real. And that's why I get attention from something like A. Chino. A. Chino, who is a big guy in e-commerce in the United States. I already spoken to him personally. I've spoken to people who are very, very notable people in the social media world and industry, music industry. I know the fucking goddamn CEO of fucking Universal Canada. Personally. But you don't see me come on here with my fly ass shit and then come here and be like, yo, I need you to buy my course. I'm going to show you the way to make money. No. I'm the guy who's going to tell you that I came from the bottom and I'm still fucking going through attaining my goals and what it is that I want to do with my life. But most importantly, it all starts with a choice. You have choice and you have willpower. You make the choice, for example, to go and I'm going to give this person 30 minutes of my time and I want to see how I feel after I listen to this individual. And if there's a fire that fuels within you and be like, you know what? You might be in your mid-20s, you might be in your mid-30s, you might be even 40 or 50. I'm here to tell you that you do have the ability, you do still have a chance to make something out of your life. There's two things that will happen, and I promise you this, and I swear it, so God be my witness. There's two things only that will happen in this life. You either become better or bitter. Better or bitter. And the ones that turn bitter get mad at people like me that sacrifice their personal time when nobody was watching, when nobody gave a fuck to pay attention to a person like me and many other guys who are doing something where nobody's watching. But they come with pure intention. I don't need no validation, whether it's through the external world or whether it's whatever it is, social media. I know one thing for a fact, though, that if I continue going down this path, even when it seems like it's foggy and it's dark and I'm in the fucking abyss, but there's something in the corner of my eye as I go through this dark shadowy valley, there's this light. And that light only you can see because you have this yearning. Like, are you poor right now? Or is your family poor? Is your mother sick? Is your father dead? Is that not enough fuel for you to raise yourself and become the best version of yourself? Is your mother paying for your fucking bills? Just like me. So when is the time gonna come where you actually want to step up to that plate and say, I'm sick of it? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of watching other people's lives go by while mine is just fucking stagnant. I'm sick of my alcoholism. I'm sick of my addiction. It's time to confront that. It's time to confront it. You have the ability to do that, but the reason why it doesn't happen for you is because you're so conditioned. I was that person too because I didn't know anything else to do. I would just play games. I would just be playing games mindlessly, drink, fucking do cocaine and all these things like that. And time just went by. Years of my life have gone by. Years of my life have gone by. But there comes a calling. And like I was mentioning earlier, when men, even women, they develop a midlife crisis. For women, it's a little different. A woman who's already had children, who's already been in relationships, who's had a job and whatever, she's just looking for fucking security. But men have a different type of structure in them. Men are warriors. They're meant to go and produce. I appreciate you being here because if you're still here, then let the spirit come forth, my brother, my sister, for you to wake up. Feel the words that come out of my mouth, but my intention is pure. Just as much as I care for me right now, I care just as much for you as somebody who might be going through some of the things I go through and things that I've gone through. I'm good. Thank you, King. Where are you from, my friend? I hope some of my testimony resonates with you, my friend, because my intention is good. I'm from Toronto, my brother. How about you?
Hello, Moto.
Hello? Yeah. Anyways, Alhamdulillah, brother. I'm from Bosnia. Bosnia. I'm a fellow Muslim myself, my brother. But here, like I said, there will come a time in every man's life. I'm a poor kid from Bosnia. I lived through the war. I lived through war. I came to Canada as a refugee. But what fuels me is watching my parents lose everything. What fueled me to become a criminal at one point is the fact that I watched my mother and my father lose everything. I hated being poor. So I sold drugs. And then eventually I got caught for it. But I probably had the longest run out of a lot of people that I know. As I mentioned before, 13, 14 years I have on my fucking belt. And as far as imprisonment, that don't scare me. The eyes don't lie, Chico. The eyes don't lie. You got dope dealers who are doing things out there, and then you end up in the cells. I could switch like this when I come inside the prison system. I'd be the guy. I always said I'm more afraid of myself than I'm afraid of people. But sometimes if you were, let's just say, hypothetically, You find yourself in a situation and you end up incarcerated and you're in the same fucking range as me. And then you get a guy like me come talk to you the way that I do. You're a younger cat. I'm 39 years old. And I tell you, you're going to work out with me every day you come out that fucking cell. You're going to do this. And then you're like, no, fuck you. I ain't going to do shit. I'll just smile at you like this. I was like, yeah, just wait till the doors open up tomorrow. And you think I'm going to come with a bunch of guys like they do? I come by myself. I have good intentions for you. But sometimes you can end up in an environment like I was in. I never had issues. All the bikers, all the gangbangers, they all know me. I never had no issues. But I was always ready to throw down. And I was always willing to go take the whole motherfucking 9 yards. If I had to. You see what I mean? If you know what 9 yards is, then I guess you're smart enough to understand that I'm willing to go to the extent that you would never be willing to go to. But here's the point. You come from a poor country. I came from a poor country. You're limited to resources. You're limited to opportunity. Then fucking make the opportunity. You understand? I'm not saying go fucking be bad. I'm not saying that. Find what drives you. Find what makes you driven to become the best version of yourself. Find what can make you, what is something that you can offer society that other people may not be able to. Or some other people are doing it, but it's a rarity. Something that you possess by the grace of Allah in order to offer to the world. Because everyone has a gift. My gift is this. And it's also my influence from my own testimonies. So, what I find from my own experience, what scared me is simply the fact that when I ended up losing everything and I became incarcerated and I came in there and I got all my fucking cars are seized, all my money is gone, all the cash is robbed, all my jewelry, everything is gone. And then when I ended up coming out, I said to myself, would I want to go back to the lifestyle that I've been before in? I said no. I started working with a friend of mine doing mobile auto detailing, cleaning cars at people's homes. And what did I do? I ended up going to clean cars at people's driveways. I was willing to struggle. I was willing to suffer in order for me to get to the point where I developed a passion for this. So you can develop a passion for something that you might not seem to have interest in, but you can develop that passion for whatever it is. If you like baking, you can manifest that into a business. Do you understand? Like you have the ability to do these things, but you have to stop. You have to stop at one point or another and stop being so fucking mindless and just going from one place to the other and just looking for temporary highs. This is the saddest thing in the world is that you have people when you come onto an app like this, it's only very few people that stick around. They'll watch people like me, talk to them and so forth. But you'll go mindlessly just scroll day in and day out like a fucking loser. And you have nothing going for your life. And everybody around you is getting older. Your children are growing up, watching their father being a fat fuck loser who doesn't do shit with his life. Doesn't that fucking motivate you enough to become a better version of yourself? Come on, man. Come on, bro.
Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are infectious as disease. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves. They will also draw it on you. Associate with the happy and fortunate instead. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Now, we all been in a place we all been in a place as far as unhappiness or feeling unlucky, but within that we had the opportunity of growth, and happiness is attained through peace. Peace is happiness. So if, in my interpretation, I wouldn't necessarily avoid people who are unhappy or people who feel like they're unlucky in life, but I rather look at it as an opportunity for something that I have gone through myself that gives me the ability to share with them my knowledge by the grace of God and the wisdom that He has blessed me with, in order to uplift them and to bring light and to reignite the fire within them once again in their life. You see what I mean? So a person who gains perception, that undergoes certain trials and tribulations, that goes through certain hardships and feel unlucky and lack of hope and financial distress, and they learn to see the bigger picture and realize that it's all a stepping stone of growth. And here I am today sharing with you that I was an unlucky guy. I was a guy who was in financial distress. I owed people money. I owe people money. But at the end of the day, I used those things to uplift others. So I wouldn't necessarily avoid. But the one thing you should remember is that if your intention is pure with the people you might deem as like somebody who's gone through the same struggles as you, if you deem them as such light, then giving yourself the opportunity to help them and to raise them and to raise their conscience and make them understand that none of these things are happening to you for no reason. It's not a coincidence. It's a calling for you to grow. It's to confront the demons that are within. So in all fairness, if you've had pure intentions with these individuals and they didn't step up to the plate to actually want to grow, then you know what you need to do. Then you distance yourself. You give them their space. Because some people are just not ready. But maybe sometimes they become ready, and when they see people who are closest to them, let's say like me compared to some of my other friends, is taking that stepping stone and doing something that they feel in their heart they could do too. But they needed somebody to take that step forward. Here I am. I'll be the sacrificial lamb. I'll be in the vulnerable position for people to point their fingers at me or make fun of me, whatever it is. Throw your best shot. It's not going to slow me down. It's only going to fuel me. Now, that's very profound, something to remember. So you have to be the first one to take the step. Walk boldly. Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You can die. Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are infectious as disease. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves. They will also draw it on you. Now, we all been in a place as far as unhappiness or feeling
A short description of facing hardships and using your experiences to help others.
Facing hardships means encountering significant difficulties, challenges, or suffering in life. It involves struggle, resilience, and often a deep period of personal growth while navigating tough circumstances. Using these experiences to help others involves empathy, mental.
All right.
Yeah.
When she come for the area, say all the man them do I do, all the boys.
I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't care what you think about me. I come from an environment with very little cheerleading going on. And so I created a sort of survival instinct where I would cut people out and minimize opinions. And the way that I would do that is I had to believe.
Law number 9.
Whenever you're alone, I'll be right behind you.
Law number 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are infectious as disease. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw